everybody, it's your girl Ashley. Welcome to my channel. It's called Me and You Forever. You know what time it is, a bump update pregnancy vlog. Yay! So we're going to talk about 36 weeks of pregnancy. I am 9 months pregnant. Yes! Alright. Great. Anyway, so stay tuned and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Anyway, so y'all know it is 30-week update, pregnancy bump update. Yes, so that means I am 9 months pregnant. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. So let's get right into it. So, remember I talked about last week that I said my fondle height is measuring at 30. At that time, I was doing my 35-week video. Excuse me, I have a lot of sleep in my eye. I'm sorry. I was measuring at that time when I did my 35-week video. I was measuring at 36 weeks, and I was supposed to be 35. So that would have made me 37 this week. So what the doctors want to do? All right. So let me explain this to you. On paper, I am 36 weeks pregnant. Fondle height, I am 37 weeks pregnant. So if y'all get that. On paper, on doctor's paper, in doctor's land, and doctor's village, whatever you want to call it, that don't get pregnancy dates right and conception dates right because they can't calculate it the right way. So sometimes it's a week off, you know. So they're going to stay with their dates that they do, but technically it might not be the date. Anyway, side note, so let me just finish what I was saying. So on paper, I am 36 weeks pregnant. Fondle height, I am 37 weeks pregnant. So I shy off a week, whatever. So let's get into the juicy details. Alright, so let's start with symptoms, and then we'll talk about my 2 visits. My anatomy scan that I had on Monday, and on Wednesday I had my 36-week help me pregnancy OB appointment on Wednesday. Okay, so try to make this short and sweet. I am going to try and conquer. Alright, so I've been having lots of, I'm not going to call them Braxton Hicks, false labor contractions. Please, I could be wrong, but leave a comment in the bottom of your screen and we could talk about it. Alright, to me, I was telling my husband there's different contractions, different stages of labor. Okay. You have your Braxton Hicks. They're unregulated. They just come and they go. Blah, 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 blah. Then you have false labor. False labor is like, they can be real steady for a good amount of time. And you think it's time. And it's not. Then you have that early labor. To me, early labor, this is just my theory. Early labor is more of, I gotta put it, more of a lot of mucus, a lot of discharge, a lot of steady, almost steady contractions, and you're losing that mucus plug and you're just really uncomfortable, but they're coming and you can time them. That's why I'm saying that's early labor. Then you have your active labor where they're not stopping, you can't stop, and it's time to get to your midwife or your home birth or the hospital, and it's time to go. Okay, so what I feel like what stage that I'm in right now is false labor. Because my contractions, I think it's like a mixture of Braxton Hicks and false labor. My contractions can go a good amount of time. I can have strong contractions when I wake up first thing in the morning. A couple hours later, I can have those contractions and I can't feel. So, I was explaining that to my doctor, that some of them I'm feeling and some of them I'm not feeling. She did say to me that because this is my third baby, 1, 2, 3, third baby, that sometimes contractions can come in different ways, spams, and that's what it actually literally feels like if you're in the water. And let me use it as an example. So sometimes my contractions feel like waves, it's like you're floating in the water, like you go up and down, up and down. That's how they feel like. Sometimes I don't even feel them coming from my back. I can feel them from coming over here on my side where my intestines at, and it starts over there, and then it'll go all over my stomach. Or sometimes my stomach just hardens up, and I know that's a contraction because it gets like rock hard. So it's like I can't time them and say, okay, this is a contraction. You know what I mean? It just depends on how long. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is when I start to feel these symptoms, because I know this. Now, it took me a couple of days to figure it out, that I am going to start timing them and see how long it lasts and go off from there. So, that's what I've been going through. That false labor and, excuse me, Braxton Hicks. So that's a symptom for me. Lately I've been having a lot of more discharge. A lot of more. Me in pregnancy and discharge is not that common to get a lot, but I've been having a lot more. It's been like mucusy, runny, puffy. I think my mucus plug should be starting to break off a little bit more this week coming up. I just have a feeling. So, yeah. Also, another symptom for me is achy, dull, backside pain, and my intestines. It's been inflamed. The reason why my intestines are inflamed, y'all know I had that gastric bypass surgery done. Let me try to put this right here. Oh, this is so much better. I have to keep holding it with my hand. Sorry. So y'all know I had that gastric bypass surgery 2 years ago on June the 3rd. So my anniversary just passed up. So my intestines and everything, my lower intestines and on the other ones, I forgot the name of it, sorry, are all moved. So she's actually pressing on my intestines, trying to go head down. Well, she's head down, pressing on head down. So, sometimes it does happen, but a lot of people can't feel it. But I think in my case, I could feel a lot more because of how my intestines got relocated. So what happens is when my uterus or is contracting or I'm having a contraction, it squeezes, right? And your sphincter muscles, like right behind your uterus where it sits at, and the baby is pressing. So that's what's going to make my intestines flame. And usually that's what's giving me the diarrhea. Some people say that's a sign of labor. or early labor, diarrhea. But that's what makes my contractions a little bit, that's what makes my intestines flaming. I'm starting to feel that pain. And I thought it was my ovaries. And she actually took a look at my ovaries, the technician. And she said those are okay. But it looks like your intestines is inflamed. I wonder if that's no. Okay. So, yeah. That's the other issue. So that's a symptom. See. Oh, yes. Another symptom, but it's technically not a symptom. I am going to upload a picture probably here. I got I don't know if it's a bite mark or if it's like I had an allergic reaction to something on my inner thigh and also on my belly. I know I got an eczema. I mean, not eczema. I know I got a mosquito bite. And it's driving me crazy. Oh my goodness, they must just love my skin. But it's so itchy, especially the one on my leg. It's like pussy and everything. Like, ugh. I like pop it. It was just so nasty. It looked like a pimple. Ugh, nasty. So anyway. So I think I'm gonna have to go get bug spray. I wonder if pregnant people can use bug spray. I don't know. But not like bug spray, you know what I mean? Like the stuff you put on your skin to like mosquito spray. That's what I wanted to say. This is wild, this wonky pregnancy. I'm still having swollen feet. I think that's it on the symptoms. Yeah, just very uncomfortable, crampy, contractions, this whole entire week. Like, woke up, just like, hey, how you doing Sunday, Monday, it's not stopping, even nighttime. Now, my sleeping. I'm going to still tell you about my sleeping. Now, I am starting to fall. For the past 2 days, I've been taking a nap, like around 3 o'clock. From 3 o'clock until 6:45. I have got real tired and took a nap and just let my body sleep. And then, I think that's why I'm sitting up from that time to like almost like 3 o'clock in the morning. But I can't fall asleep until then. And it's still rough sleeping because it's like Bailey's just very big and she's uncomfortable and there's not a lot of space in there. So it's kind of hard for me to sleep. And then plus that's when my contractions come in. So yes, sleeping is still not doing good. But that's a part of pregnancy. I guess in this pregnancy, I got the pregnancy insomnia. Yay me. So I think that's really it on the symptoms. Okay, so let's talk about our visits. Okay, the first visit that I had saw was the anatomy scan. My doctor made me get another one. I had to wait a month out to get another one, so I had got one May 12th. So it was time for another one. So I had got one because they wanted to see how she was growing. Okay, so there's two parts to this. First part, I was a little upset and a little sad. Okay, so let me explain the first part. So when we went there, everything was good in the beginning. It turned out good anyway at the end. So everything was good. My mom went with me just in case that something might happen if I had to go to labor and delivery. My mom went with me, and it was a nice day. It was kind of chilly that day on Tuesday. It was like real chilly. So we went. And, excuse me. So we get up on the table and I slide back down off the table. And so I had to get back up and everything. So we get there and she's moving a lot this morning. She's like moving and, hold on 1 second. Excuse me. See, she's moving a lot and she's like just all over the place. Head, arms, legs, and everything looks good. Kidneys look good. Heart looks good. Fully developed lungs. Everything looks great. She said that her belly looked kind of small and her head looked kind of small. And that kind of got me scared. And I was like, why? When they did the measurements, she was measuring as a 34-week baby. But she was 5 pounds and something, like a half an ounce almost 6, where she should have been 6 pounds. So I was like really worried, and my mom was like, everything's okay. And the technician was like, well, maybe we might be off, because that's not right. We might be off. She might be way low going into your pelvis. My mom was like, yeah, she's probably like real far down, because it got to the point where I thought the lady was going to have to pull an internal monitor out. That's how far down she was. So my mom was like, don't worry, everything's okay. But as a mom, you always worry about stuff, making sure that you do the right thing with your kids. And, sometimes it's just scary, and you just don't understand why your babies decide to do that. She scored 8 on 8 on her test that they do for breathing. She did great. She did beautiful. I'm going to upload a picture of what she looked like up here. But there was some kind of cute things. She was opening up her mouth. You could see her inhaling the amniotic fluid. And you can see her practice breathing on her own. She stayed a good amount of time down there. And every time I would talk, she would open up her mouth and go down. I was like, oh, hi, Bailey, Whaley. And like she was kissing the screen. It was so sweet. I just started to cry, because it was just like the most beautiful thing. I never really got to see that with my other 2 girls. With Bailey, it was awesome. It was so awesome. So that was great. We saw her hands. She had her hands like this on her face, covering her face. And we saw the umbilical cord. It was so weird to see. It was actually looked like it was blue, because, sometimes, the blood looks blue inside your body. So you can see the lining, and you can see the blood pumping through and going out. It was just awesome. We also saw her hands. She has a full fingernails. Fingernails and everything, guys. And this wasn't in 3D. This was a regular form ultra scan. She got a really good picture of her, and it was nice. She is posterior, so she's actually looking up at my pelvis. So, and my labor may be a little bit long, just like her little sister. And so I'm like, okay, God just bless me, and He's gonna cover me in His grace and spirit, so that's okay. What else? We actually saw her hair. So let me explain to you what the lady explained to me. There was like this, it looked like little bubbles. It was floating in the water, and that's hair. She has it all here, and here. All this hair, and it comes like right here. It is so long. She's like, I've never seen a baby with that amount of hair. Old YSL say a lot of heartburn means a lot of hair, but she looks so pretty, even though that I haven't not seen her yet. But she's just the most beautiful thing in the world that I see, and I'm already in love with her. Like, I just cannot wait to see my baby. So shout out to my friend, she had a baby. Yay, happy. Okay, so yeah, sonogram went great. After that, I was just a little worried. So we left, went home. My mom went back to her house, and I went home. I cried it out a little bit, got a little upset, got a little emotional. Talked to the nurse. The nurse said that she did perfectly fine. She was fine. She called me back. She was like, don't worry, everything is fine. Some fetal babies, she said, are just a little bit small. And it kind of makes more sense, because my kids were a little small. My first one was no bigger than 6 pounds. Believe was 7. She dropped back down to 6. So, I just can have small babies. So, and be perfectly fine. She's perfectly healthy. And she said, don't worry about anything else. She said, she's low. She's okay. She's fine. So the nurse called me, and she made me feel much better, because I was like, okay, now I understand. So I was so much happier to hear that. And then, what else? I told her about the pressure that I was having on my, I was about to say, help me guys, I'm so sorry. intestines. And she said, that makes sense what I just said about the contractions. That makes really a lot of sense. So we found out what that was. Sorry about that. It's this pregnancy brain is really, I can't wait to get my brain back. So that's what happened on Monday. Visit was on Tuesday. It was quick and sweet, like seriously. But I have a lot of news. So I get in, get weighed, and remember I told you went up to 215. Oh no, I was 218, went back down to 215, and remember I told you I went back up to 218. Well, I went back down to 217. I am gaining weight and losing weight all at the same time, but I think it's just more have to do with my bypass surgery and everything. So I just make sure that I'm trying to eat the things I need to eat. So I had read that a lot of times women in their 36 weeks around this time feel like they're full all the time because of how low the baby's pushing. Sorry, I just got cut off. I think I went over my limit. Sometimes babies, they say you might feel swollen in your pregnancy towards the end is because they're pushing on every organ of your body, and sometimes it makes you feel bloated. So on top of that, I have not the urge to eat so much, so that's affected me. So I need to try to put a little bit more in my system, and I've been doing that. So the doctors do not worry about it, but let me say this real quick before I move. When I got pregnant, I was 189 pounds. I had lost a good amount of weight from where I was when I was like over a year ago. Was like 245 pounds, and gaining 30 pounds on top of your pregnant self. Well, altogether 30 pounds through your pregnancy. I forgot what it was to have that extra weight and realized, oh my gosh, I don't know how for many years I carried this weight. No offense for anybody. I don't want to offend anybody. But for me, I don't understand how I could carry that much weight and be okay. So it was surprising to me because my body aches, and I think it's just from the extra weight. Excuse me. Ooh. And spilling everything. So, yes, that's the issue. But anyway, so that was my weight. My urine came back clean. No protein, no nothing. I did test positive for strep B. The strep B test I had to do at 35 weeks. I always usually test positive. I test positive for my first one, my second one, and my third one. It's common for me. So I already let them know that I probably would. And they was like, okay, we know. And it came back positive. So I just have to make sure I tell the doctor when I go into labor, that's what's going to happen. They need to give me antibiotics. So, alright guys, I got cut off again. She checked the baby's heartbeat. Baby's heartbeat was between 149, 150. Very good, very steady. So I was happy. She was doing perfectly well. So she told me, asked me about my contractions, and I told her, and she said, okay, well, we're going to keep an eye on them, and, she asked me when my babies got due. Well, with my first one, I had a C-section, I told her, and with my last one, I had her between 37 weeks and 38 weeks. So, guys, I turned 37 weeks on paper on the 27th of next week. I have 8 days from that day to get this baby needs to come, because if I don't have 41 weeks, I will have a C-section. Like I told you, my hospital does not induce VBACs no more. They feel like it's not good, it's not healthy, and I totally agree with them. It's not safe. I just think it's the best way to just sit there and, let your God do it the natural thing, or have a C-section. So at 38 weeks, if I'm still pregnant, I will get my induction date. I really don't want to have a C-section. My first one did not turn out the right way. The only reason why I'm saying that is because I had a successful be back with my youngest. So I'm just really hoping that everything goes good. So I've been doing a lot of walking and everything and trying to naturally start labor. So yes, please. I already know the signs. I already know what things I can use, and I really don't feel like going into detail because my phone might completely shut off in a couple minutes. But yes, the only one thing I would not be doing is castor oil because in my case, it's not good for me. It can really mess me up. I tell anybody don't use castor oil. Anyway, it's not a real good idea. I'm sorry for people who believe in it. That's just your opinion. So yeah, that's what happened at the visit. Everything was great. Everything was fine. So that's what happened in my 36 weeks update. That is my 36 week update. So if y'all have, I always leave your information of how your baby looks at 36 weeks. At the end of this video, please leave a question, comment, hit that like up button, share this video, and guys, this is me, you forever, Ashley's Bump Update Pregnancy Blog. Please stay tuned for more videos. Hospital bag video is coming soon, guys. I promise. So stay tuned, and I will see y'all later. Bye.